Welcome back to another video on my channel. Today is just going to be like a get ready with me catch up kind of video because I've been gone for nearly a month. That was not a plan. I didn't intend for my break to be this long, but here we are. And a lot of stuff has happened since then. Like clearly, I got nails and now they're popping off. So that just kind of shows you how much stuff's been going on in my life, I guess. I don't know. Please ignore this. It's a little gross, but you know, that's where I'm at. Anyway, yeah, I'm going to be doing a get ready with me video and I'm going to be filling you guys in with what's been going on for the past month in my life and just, yeah, big changes of what's been happening with the book. And if you're interested in that, I guess just keep on watching. I'm going to try to include more of the actual makeup process in this video because I got a critique from somebody who watches my videos saying that that I edit it in a way that's too fast and they can't really tell what I'm doing with like eyeshadows and stuff. So yeah, I'm going to include more of what I think is the boring stuff, I guess, in this video just to see if it helps you guys out. Also, I'm trying a new foundation. And it looks pretty light. I tried my best to skin match it at CVS because that's where I went. But girl, she is fair. What is this? I got the Fit Me foundation in 112, which is I thought was my shade, but apparently it might not be. Hang on, just a sec. Yeah, I'm normally 118, so that is like quite a few shades darker than this. Ah, great. We're starting off strong, aren't we? Oh, she's giving me casket ready. Oh my god, look at that. That's disgusting. Disgusting. I think this is lighter than my concealer, in all honesty. Well, here comes the true test of my makeup skills, I guess, is to see if I can make this work. But don't worry about it, we'll be fine. Halloween's coming up too, am I right? Or am I right? Let's try this concealer now. I'm a little worried, so I'm going to actually put it in like a test spot first. I don't think that's necessarily darker, I just think it's more yellow. Yeah, we'll just try this out anyway. And see what happens. I was out of foundation, so I was using concealer for a while, and I'm going back to the triangle method because I want this to look relatively normal. So if I cover a lot of surface area with this concealer, maybe that will help. Anyway, while I try and finesse with this, I'll just kind of talk about, I think, how the month is going chronologically, and then fill you guys in on where I've been and stuff. And like, yeah, maybe things will make sense that way. So start of the month, we were here for 4th of July, and it was actually kind of uneventful. My book was released at the end of June, so I was just basically doing a bunch of marketing campaigns to try to promote it and stuff like that. Shortly after the 4th of July, we actually headed back home to South Bend, Indiana to visit with family and friends. And we were only there for maybe like a week and a half, 2 weeks. But a lot of stuff happened in that time. So when we first got there, we spent a few days with family. I ended up going to the fair because that was part of my mission for heading back home too, because Douglas has never experienced a Midwestern summer 4-H fair type of deal. So that was big on my list for cultural exchange. I guess at some point in time, I wanted to take Douglas to the fair. And my sister's actually dating someone who's never had that experience either. We double dated to the 4-H fair, and that was fun. It was so packed, and I think it's because last year it was canceled with like COVID and everything. You know, precautions, just you do what you have to do. But yeah, I guess people were wilding out now because it was packed. Like we were there for at least 6 hours, and we couldn't get on like any rides at all. Well, we got on like half the rides maybe. But still, if you're somebody who knows what a fair looks like, that's like pretty surprising to anybody, to be honest. I'm contouring to try to warm my face up. So this is like a pretty warm brown eyeshadow in this palette. And I'm just kind of like taking along different parts of my face to try to make this look a little bit more even. Then after that, we went on a weekend trip with my dad. I normally don't hang out with my dad very much, but he invited us to go. So we were up in Wisconsin for a weekend with my dad, and I went with him and my brother and my brother's girlfriend, and then of course Douglas and I went. And it was pretty nice. It was nice to spend the weekend with everybody. And then we came home and did various things, meeting different family members. It's like fun but difficult for me because my family's divorced, so it's kind of like hitting a checklist. Every time we go home, we have to make sure we spend time with people like equally and stuff like that. But it was also fun but stressful because I was throwing in events for my book in between. I actually had my first book signing ever while I was back home in Indiana. Yeah, I held my first book signing at the Potawatomi Zoo in South Bend, Indiana. And you might think, well, Cassie, that's a really strange venue. That's pretty unconventional. To which I say, yes. But have I done anything conventional ever in my life? You know, like, hello, look at me now. So yeah, basically I tried emailing before we left. I tried emailing a bunch of places in town, like different bookstores, like small bookstores. And they basically told me the same thing, where they were just kind of like, the small shops, A, didn't have the space to hold that many people, but B, they were mostly like they do resale books. They don't sell new merchandise or new releases, just because there isn't, like, I don't know if there's not a demand for it or if they just can't carry it because they're losing contracts to the bigger bookstores like at Notre Dame or what, but a lot of the local places don't do that. They just resell secondhand, or they do things like that. So I was a little bummed out because I also tried emailing the Notre Dame bookstore, or like trying to get in contact with somebody at those bigger places, but I was not getting any returns. I was basically just really ignored. So then I was like, well, shoot, what should I do? What should I do? Hang on, I think I'm going to try to contour my nose too, just to make it look a little bit more, it's a little darker, I guess. You see how that's kind of helping with the whole complexion issue? So I was thinking and trying to put my creative hat on, and I realized that one of my main characters is a lemur, like duh, I knew that. But they had lemurs at the local zoo where I grew up. I remember lemurs being there, and I was like, hey, this might work. So I emailed the contact info, or I emailed, the customer service email or whatever. And I said, hey guys, guess what? I'm a local gal. I'm going to be back in town for this amount of time, and I really wanted to collaborate on an event. Yeah, so I wanted to collaborate on this event because where I grew up, like my high school was literally right in front of the zoo. And we would do softball practice outside, like right there. I'm not even exaggerating. So, yeah, I was like, okay, yeah, this would really tie in with like my roots with the community and stuff. And plus, like, it's thematic, right? So she got back to me and she was really excited because I guess they were celebrating their 100th anniversary at the zoo, like their birthday. And they were having sorts of events every Thursday for the month of July. And they said they could squeeze me in. So I was super duper pumped. And so yeah, we had our book signing there. And I'm going to put pictures of it like somewhere on here for you to see. It was pretty good. We had a decent turnout despite like people thinking it was going to rain. I had a lot of family turn up mostly, but it was still nice. We sold half our stock, and I talked to all these kids, and it was exciting to see because a lot of them wanted to be writers too. And it was kind of, I don't know, it's just fun to talk to them and like see them get all excited about somebody who's doing what they want to do. And I feel like it was more like realistic for them, I guess, or like aspirational, Oh geez, there's a lot of blush in this look. I'm sorry, I'm just realizing this now. I'm gonna try to tone it down, but we'll see. I got invited to some other events, but unfortunately I couldn't make it because, like I said, I wanted to spend as much time with family as possible because in reality, I don't know when we'll have the chance to do that for like a multitude of reasons. Partially because of the Delta variant that's going on. I'm pessimistic about like whether or not we won't have to go into lockdown. I think we'll have to go into lockdown. But also like we want to spend time with Douglas's family as well. It's been quite a few years since we've seen them. And hopefully if things get better, like we would spend our time in Brazil instead. So we're really just playing a lot of things by ear in terms of like what family we see. So that's why we like preemptively came in July just to hang out with everybody, because I don't know if we're going to be there for Thanksgiving or Christmas really. But yeah, so we were there. We had the book signing. It was a lot of fun. It was also extra special because I actually got featured in my hometown's newspaper. And because I sent out like an old-fashioned press release, like my mom helped me out with that. So anyway, I was in the newspaper, yes. I was in the South Bend Tribune. They did a piece on me. And at first I thought it was just going to be like a little article, you know, like a little human interest piece, nothing too special. But they just a big-ass picture of my face. I'll put pictures up here too. But it was like really up there. And they put it on their website too, which I'm really appreciative of, because of course that just helps me out even more. So we had people come in who saw me in the paper, or I had people come up to me while we were out and about and say that they recognized me from the paper, which was great because that's like great publicity for me, and I really appreciated it. So yeah, I was like a little local celebrity for like 2 seconds. And it's cool because literally the following week I saw an article about this kid that I went to elementary school with, and like we went to a really small elementary school. Like I'm talking, my graduating class had like 12 kids in it. That's it. And I think he moved away before officially graduating, but like apparently he's a minor league baseball player. And it was just funny because the week after, I saw an article about him in the paper too. So it was kind of nice to see that. You know, I like rooting for people, even if you're not like in touch with them all the time, because you never know who's in your corner. And especially like when I was home, or when my book got released, and I was like posting stuff online, and like the messages I would get, like really the most supportive messages I would get were from people that like I kind of knew, or like we had like one obscure thing that we did together in the past. Like maybe we were on the same softball team at one point in time for a summer. They were the ones that were really messaging me and being really supportive about it, and they were the ones buying my book, and I was just really surprised, but I was also like really humbled by that. So yeah, it was really nice to have the opportunity to like go home and like be back, I guess, where it all started. And yeah, I don't know, because I told you guys in other videos, or maybe I haven't, I don't know, I get confused with this content and my Instagram content. But also, if you don't know, I have an Instagram account for just writing, and then I have an Instagram account for me. So yeah, follow either one of those and you'll stay up to date with all my stuff. But yeah, so I started writing my book like when I was 19 years old, and it kind of started like immediately after I left high school. And the book itself starts after Vincent's graduation, and so it was nice to be mirrored in that way. And like, I don't know, it was serendipitous, I guess. So I really enjoyed being home. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay, so I'm gonna go for this eyeshadow look that I saw. So I've been watching Glow Up. I don't know if you guys watch that on Netflix too, but the new season was out and I literally binge watched it. And there was this girl named Sophie who did the prettiest eyeshadows, like the prettiest eyeshadows I've ever seen. And they were like these really brown, orangey, smoky eyes that kind of like went all the way out. And obviously her face is a lot more angled than mine, and I don't think her eyebrow droops as much. But it looks so good on her. I'm going to try to do it for me. So if I'm doing eyeshadow that you're not used to or that you haven't seen from me yet, this is why. I decided to be a little bit more experimental today. So let's hope this works out. So I'm just kind of marking, I guess, where I want the eyeshadow to go. She took it all the way to her temples. I'm going in with this like orangey color because it's like really warm. And I'm just placing that over the lid, like in my natural crease. and then I'm like taking it out, and I'm gonna have to spend some time building up for that, but I just want it to be really smoky, so that's why I'm using my fluffy brush instead of like a more precise brush. When we go to the darker colors, I'll start using like a less fluffy one, but this is kind of what I'm going for, I guess. I don't know. So yeah, that's what I was home for. If you are one of the people who came out to visit, or if you were one of the people who bought my book, I just want to say thank you so much. It means the world to me. Right now, I really want to focus on just being a professional creative, and I would like to write more. I haven't written in this past month because of things, but I really want to carry this to the future. I love doing YouTube. I love interacting with people. I love just being creative, and it's really been like like when I mean it, like a literal lifesaver for me. You guys have no idea. I was in a very dark place, not just with my career, but like with my mental health, and this has literally just made me. I feel like reborn, if that makes sense. So I'm just appreciative of everybody who's been helping me in my journey and who's been along with me for every step of the ride. Like, I really appreciate it, because I honestly couldn't have done it without you guys, honestly. Like, all the feedback I've gotten, even throughout this whole process, like big or small, every little interaction helped more than you could ever know. So yeah, that was like the first third to half of the month in terms of what was going on with me and my life. And we flew back home and immediately started on another project, which was moving house. I don't know if you guys can tell this. I mean, I got a new chair. Like, I'm a professional YouTuber now. I feel like all them YouTube girlies have this like pink gamer chair or whatever. This specific one. So I got it, and it's really comfy. I really like it. But I'm actually sitting now in my new office. Um, it is in our new apartment. So, which I'm going to put a video up of later of like when we're officially done unpacking and moving in. So this is our new apartment. We literally are in the same neighborhood where we were before, but we just moved to a bigger space. Rent prices, at least in our area, went down, and because of that, we were able to afford a 2-bedroom apartment in the city. Instead of a studio. So we left at the opportunity. It was only like, I think, $200 more than what we normally pay for our studio. So we hopped on that as soon as we could. Now I'm just going to go into this brown and kind of define this mess a little bit more. So yeah. But yeah, so we have a new apartment. So we have, like I said, it's a 2-bedroom house. Not 2-bedroom house. Oops, I wish. That's me manifesting, girly. But we have a 2-bedroom apartment, and we use one of them for a shared office. Douglas is kind of in here during the day mostly, and I kind of slither my way in here when he's done in the afternoon to like record a video. We can work at the same time. It's not that. It's just he tends to have meetings during the day, and he's just a loud person, and I like being quiet. So sometimes instead of being in here, I'll work on chores during the day around the house. And then he will, or yeah, I'll work on chores during the day, or I'll take my laptop into the living room and kind of work in there a little bit, since it's more mobile than his like desktop. You know what I mean? He's got like a whole setup going. And then like when he's done, if he doesn't have meetings, I'll be in here with him. We could just kind of do our own thing. But he'll also start doing chores in the afternoon once he's done with his like 9 to 5. Or he'll just do, I don't know, more relaxing stuff while I'm working in here. So I don't know how this is looking for you guys. I don't know if it's a mess right now, because I naturally want to go with my eye shape and make it round, but Girly was extending that shit, so maybe I should just push it a little bit further out if I can, and then I'll get to the darker eyeshadows. I think you can see it on this side a lot better since I don't have hair over here, you know what I mean? when we want a little lift, even though my eye does droop down like that, I'm trying to lift it up. So yeah, anyway, we moved. So I told you guys, I hinted at a video. I know I posted a video that was like an empty house tour. Once we get a little bit more settled, I'll post something with like like an actual house tour maybe. I know people on YouTube like them, but I know they're also kind of cringy, because like I think rich people do it to flex, and I just want to point that out there that my husband and I are not on that level. Period. Um, oh shit. Period. But we try our best, you know. So if I do a house tour, like don't feel like it's gonna be some like mega McMansion somewhere in the city of Boston, because it's really not. It's this old ass apartment. I low key think it's haunted. um, and the reason I say that is because A, it's super old, and B, the hallway is so creepy. It feels literally like the hallway in The Shining. It gives me old haunted hotel vibes. Like we actually have an elevator in our building, which is kind of cool. You don't really find that a lot here. Um, but it's slow as hell. It takes you like 5 minutes to get downstairs. You could probably walk downstairs faster than you use the elevator. But it's just, I don't know. And like our apartment, like the wind makes it so the doors always slam shut, but it's just random. It'll go off at random times. And I don't know, it's just kind of spooky. We got a spooky house. But I feel like it's fitting because it's August, and August means it's almost time for fall. Which again, I feel like this is a very fall makeup. This is not oh god, yeah, it's August now. I keep thinking it's July. This is not a summer makeup. This is pretty much a very spooky fall makeup. But I like to see it, so this have more shape to it. I feel this is kind of hot. This eye's definitely sloppier than this eye, I feel. But anyway, I was really stressed because I was really rushing to try to get everything as unpacked as quickly as I could. So when we flew back, literally that week, we packed everything up in in the old apartment, and then within a matter of days, started moving, hired some movers, and got into this one. Um, And then after that, I spent maybe 2 or 3 days trying to unpack everything myself. Like, I didn't touch a computer. I didn't touch any social media. I didn't really do anything besides put shit, the unpacked shit, put shit away. Like, the kitchen was done super quick because I actually had a friend who wanted to come stay with us. He was coming up to visit from DC. This is another old high school friend. I haven't seen him forever, but we've always been very close. So he wanted to come visit, and so my brain was like, "Oh yeah, no problem, come do it. I haven't seen you in forever. It's gonna be so much fun." Not realizing that I have my limitations as like a human being. Not saying like he was amazing about it. Like we got him a blow up mattress in the living room because everything else was just hectic. At least I got the living room set up for him. Ooh, we got fallout in this pan, honey. Um, yeah, but everything was set up for him, and it was a lot of fun. He was here for pretty much the last weekend in July. So him and I hit the town while my husband was working, and then later Douglas would come join us for drinks. Um, and it was just so nice to see him again. We literally walked everywhere. Like, I am not in shape, period. But my friend made me walk all over. Like, we walked from basically the Isabella, if you know Boston, right? We walked from the Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum all the way to basically Fenway. And then we walked from Fenway, we walked through BU's campus, and then we walked back to Alston. So that's basically the entire like southwest part of the city. I don't know how I did it. My calves were like on fire, but it's good because I need to work out again. So that was like a fun time, and I just had fun like going through the city. He's been to Boston, but like not hasn't really seen all the neighborhoods and stuff. So we just kind of like were pretty casual. Oh shit, I really fucked that up. See how it's round again? It needs to be like this. Like this eye is so good. This one's all messed up. Um. Yeah, I think that's better. I'm gonna put a little bit more on the lid, but I'm not gonna touch these anymore. It's kind of sloppy, but I feel like we're getting the effect we want, so that's all that matters. So yeah, then we just saw a movie in Brookline at the Coolidge Corner Theater. I really like that place. If you're in the city, it's a nonprofit, and they work towards keeping it's a historic building, so they work towards trying to keep it up. They show like modern movies and stuff, but what I like is that every October they show classic like scary movies like The Blob and shit like that, like really old movies. So I love it for that reason. That's enough for me to try to keep it in business because I don't know, I love going there. It's such a quirky place. It's a great idea for a date in my opinion. It's one of my favorite places to go. Boston has like a lot of older theaters, but some of them are like eh. Um, some of them can be really small just by nature of design, you know. But this one has quite a couple of different theaters, so like or like screens. So it feels like a bigger theater than what it is, if that makes sense. Okay, now I'm gonna try to put mascara on to see if it fixes this look. I might need to do some touch-ups here and there because it's pretty sloppy, you know. Maybe I should get. I don't want to like overcorrect it too much, but it is pretty sloppy. This is why I end up cutting parts of my makeup process out because it's literally just me trying to like fix everything. And it takes a lot longer than I make it seem. We're deceiving you guys a bit, the beauty YouTubers. I mean, the big ones are deceiving you for other reasons. But we won't get into that today. But yeah, so that was our first day. Friday, what did we do? Oh, Friday we went to Newberry Street and went shopping. And then we went for drinks downtown. I like downtown to go drinking. If you want to go out, that's like the nightclubs that I like going to are mostly around Chinatown. But we found some cool places. Like downtown, there's this place called Versus. It's literally like an arcade bar. And what's good about Versus is that it's literally just like a $5 cover. And then you can go in and play all the machines you want. Like, it's not coin operated. So it's really worth your money, I think. The drinks are okay. They're not the best. But the atmosphere is a lot of fun. And if you get... And the food's not the best either. But at least they serve it in a fun way. Like, they'll serve it in a lunchbox, like an old-fashioned lunchbox. Or they'll serve it in, like, a Frisbee, kind of like what you did back in the 90s when you were a kid. Or, like, early 2000s. It's, like, all nostalgia-driven. They have pinball and, like, arcade games. But they also have, like, TV setup so you can play different, like, Xbox and PlayStation and Nintendo and, like, whatever you want to play. So, it's a fun... I think Douglas took me there for my birthday one year. And we had, like, our own reserved table. So that was nice. I'm sorry if I'm not looking at the camera a lot in this video. Like, I am trying to just put makeup on as I go. And, like, I hope this is still entertaining for you guys. I'm still, like, I'm still experimenting with where to film. So, basically, I have this side. And I'm going to put stuff on the walls so it's not too bare. I have a poster that I used for my book signing that I'm thinking about putting back up here. Maybe, like, framing the newspaper article, too, and putting it back here to make me look a little bit more, like, official. Basically. So I thought about putting that back there and maybe some, like, cute drawings or paintings or whatever. But on the other side of this wall, I also have my Pokemon dolls. And I was thinking about turning that corner into, like, little, like, Zen reading area. But maybe if also I need a different set for filming, like, if I'm just talking to you guys without makeup, I could also film there. So that's my ideas for the office right now. Okay, now I'm going to put highlighter on and a lip. And then I should be relatively done. But yeah, what else? Oh, on Saturday, kind of like our last day together, my friend and I, we ended up going to Salem and doing a bunch of fun, spooky stuff. It was very busy as well. I was really surprised. Normally it's not that bad. Like, there's gonna be tourists all the time. But normally, like, most of the tourists come in, like, October or fall. Like, Halloween is impossible. Like, it is packed. Like, worse than, like, Disney World packed. And I was pleasantly surprised because, like, just my opinion, right? Like, some people might not see this as a good thing, but I do think it's a good thing because the Delta variant is here. But Salem was more strict about, like, wearing masks outside and, like, in stores than Boston is. Boston's pretty much like, you don't have to wear it if you don't want to. Whereas Salem, they kind of enforce that a little bit more. And, you know, that's totally fair. But that's just something to know if you do go there. But yeah, I was just surprised for how busy it was. So we went there, walked around the town, went to all the spooky shops. Um, and it was good because I actually ended up getting some stuff that I needed. I don't think I've talked about it on this channel, but during quarantine, I had like a crisis of faith. Not really a crisis, but I was basically questioning a lot of things, as one would if they went through a global pandemic and they were isolated from their loved ones, and, you know, all this stuff in the world is happening. So I really needed to find something to lean into for my own mental health, and I realized that like I was raised Catholic growing up, like, but like my parents weren't really strict Catholics. Like, they made us go to church and stuff, but they weren't necessarily like fire and brimstone type Catholics either. And that's what I believed in for a long time. For the most part, I was always kind of like questioning things. I would get in trouble at school for questioning things, or I'd get in trouble in Catholic school for saying that I don't want my children to be baptized because I want them to discover themselves and what works for them. And I got in trouble for saying that because, you know, doctrine. Anyway, I found myself turning to different powers, and I just had like all these weird experiences while I was in quarantine. And if you want me to get more specific about them, I can do, I don't know if I like this lip. I can do a completely other video about it some other time, like my own spiritual journey or whatever. But basically that's just saying that, like, I don't necessarily pray to God and Jesus anymore. I still fuck with Mary, but I'm not really Christian anymore. I think the best word for it would be pagan. I've been praying to a different goddess lately, and just been exploring paganism and like witchcraft, and it's done so much wonders for me. And like, even my husband noted that like I've become a much happier person once I decided to practice this faith and get into my own personal little witchy things. I'm still learning a lot. There's so much information out there and so many different practices, and also like different rules about, you know, what's appropriate for certain people to practice and what isn't. But at the end of the day, you know, I do my own little deity worship. And I work with her. I work with the goddess of love, basically. And I've been working with her for the past year now. And basically my mantra is that I want to encompass all the love you give, and I want to give it back to the world. So yeah, that's kind of what I've been doing. I've been doing a lot of like more ceremonious baths, a lot of like self-love magic or like self-love treatments. I've also worked with just, you know, the cycles of the moon and just, you know, manifesting things and then releasing things at the end of the month. And I found it really helpful. I've tried other spells too. Some of them worked for me, some haven't. But I'm just kind of working on my own to figure out what's like right for me. And Salem's good because I ended up getting some witchy stuff at Salem for like my actual practice. I do have to say, a lot of the stores there, like Hex, like they were selling like voodoo stuff, but the majority of the shopkeepers were white, and I felt kind of, I mean, it's not my place, right, to be offended or whatever, but like I kind of felt some type of way about it, just because there are some cultural practices that are like closed practices, especially around different communities of color, and I just don't feel appropriate. I don't feel appropriate practicing those things when it's not a part of my lineage necessarily. But that's my own rant, and again, that could be like a whole other video. But my husband and my friend were completely supportive of me. I think the only things I picked up when I was there, I picked up some lavender water that you just kind of spray around the house to just kind of like help create a more calming, unified house. And it's also good for healing and anxiousness, which is like, hello, me. I'm a very anxious person. And then I ended up getting a book. I don't know how like credible it is or whatever, but I got a book called The House Witch, and it's about witchcraft specifically for the home, and just making your home a sacred space. And I think that's really resonates with me because I don't do a whole lot of magic that's like, over the top or like dark or there's different sects of magic, right? And there's different degrees for everybody and what they like to do. But for me, I kind of want to just focus on uplifting myself and the others around me. And I feel like house magic kind of works with that. So I'm excited to learn more about that. Especially since if we go into lockdown again, which again, it depends on how this Delta variant goes, right? But I feel like if we go into lockdown again, having those practices will really help me keep a more level head and kind of just cleanse my space and make it a happy place for, me and my husband. So I'm really excited about that. And then also, I got some cool tarot cards. Now, for what I know, tarot is not a closed practice. Anybody can do it. And I used to have a pendulum that I would work with for my divination. But since then, it has, I found that, I kind of wanted to move on to the next step. So I ended up getting this like Ethereal Visions Illuminated Tarot deck. Like, look how pretty this is. Again, I don't know much about the artist, but Douglas actually picked this out for me. He bought it for me because I guess there's this like superstition in tarot that you can't buy it for yourself. Somebody else has to buy it for you. I'm not really sure how valid that is. Again, I'm very, very new to this practice, and I welcome any sort of advice and things like that. But I've been practicing a little bit on my own, and just look how pretty these are. Like, look how gorgeous these cards are. Hey, let me pull out one for you. Isn't that pretty? I just love the gold reflex. I love the color palette. The back of the cards are more in like purples and greens. And it was funny because so my friend also knows a little bit about like astrology and stuff just because it's fun. But he was like, "Oh girl, that is your Libra rising coming out." And I said, "Yes, sir." So I did a reading for him. He was so nice and let me practice, but it just felt so right. And he said it really resonated with him. So that makes me feel good. And so I'm going to try to practice some more and, just see what I can do. Maybe if I can incorporate that, I can do it for like loved ones and stuff. Like that would make me happy. I don't really think that my practice is going to be one that's used for profit necessarily. I don't know how I feel about that. Like, I know everybody's got a hustle and grind, and I don't. I don't hate on anybody else who charges for that because, again, that's like your bread. I totally get it. But I'm not in a space where I need to do that, and I don't think I have the expertise to do that. But I don't know. There's some people that just don't charge because, there's this one woman I found online who doesn't charge because I think she's Russian and Moldovan or whatever. She's Eastern European. And she says it's actually part of her folk practice to not charge. And I don't know, I kind of resonated with that. So I've basically been trying to do a lot more research about my own practice, what I can do for my own mental health and for the well-being of those around me and what I can do to give back to my communities and stuff and just kind of create this abundance of love and a safe space. And probably trying to get tied more into my own roots too. So my family is mostly Polish. I think I said that in a different video about my ancestry or whatever. But I have a lot of Eastern European ancestors, and I know they have their own version of folk magic, and I'm trying to tie back into that too. Again, that can be a whole other video if you guys are interested. I don't know. But yeah, so that's why we were in Salem, to do fun touristy stuff, but also to stock up on my closet. There wasn't a whole lot there I really liked. A lot of it was more revolved about Wiccan practices, and no offense to anyone who's Wiccan, that's just not for me. I don't want to be part of anything that has a constructed hierarchy, especially coming from a Catholic background. that's a no-go for me. I'm very much into private practice and like what people do to feel comfortable in their own homes. So yeah, that's where I'm at. But anyways, that's why we're in Salem, and then I guess that brings us to today, with me doing my makeup here, because that was literally like last Sunday when my friend left. So a couple days ago. And yeah, we're still unpacking. We're still gonna hang stuff up on the walls, so we still have stuff to do. But for the most part, the place is really cool, and I can't wait to show it to you guys. Yeah, but anyway, so that's the video, I guess. This is my makeup look. I hope you guys like it. I hope that, I know I talked a lot more in this one, like throughout my whole process and blending process and things like that. So I hope this was helpful for you. If you look really close, it's not that cute. But from far away, friend, look at that. And we're supposed to be social distancing anyway, so you're not supposed to be this close to my face to tell that I can't blend shit. But yeah, so anyway, if you like this video, go ahead and leave a like, comment down below, and share this with a friend. And if you like it extra much, feel free to subscribe to the channel. I know I got subscribers even when I wasn't posting, so thank you so much for that. I really appreciate that. I'm going to try to post more frequently here. I'm going to really try to improve the quality despite the difficulties that might come from living in a big city, like the siren that's going on right now. I don't know if you guys can hear it or not. So yeah, there might be some challenges in that, but I do want to post more frequently. So what I'm planning to do is like have one day dedicated to like writing stuff, since that's like, you know, what I'm trying to make a career out of now. So one day will be devoted to writing stuff specifically, and the other day will be devoted to like makeup or anime or whatever fun thing I really feel like doing. Will be on another day. I don't have a set schedule for that. I need to get better at grounding myself and setting a healthy schedule. That is next on the list for self-growth. But yeah, stay tuned for all this good stuff to come. Yeah. And until next time, thanks. Bye.